Good afternoon. I am today going to talk about behavioral theory. Hello, Dr. Posey. Hello, my YouTube viewers. Today we are going to be talking about behaviorism. Now, behaviorism is basically the study of behaviors of both animals and humans and the conditioning behind how to elicit the types of behaviors that you are specifically looking for or not looking for in humans and animals. There are many people that have studied behaviorism. Pavlov studied classic conditioning, Thorndike had his laws of effect, and Skinner did operant conditioning. All of them studied using animals, which today would be very, very tough to do with PETA and many animal rights activist laws and so forth. So I personally like to study behaviorism using students, and I use operant conditioning in my classroom for classroom management and classroom behavior. But I guess, actually, now that I think about it, I guess it wouldn't be necessarily that bad, and they wouldn't come down, because they weren't really doing anything that harmful to the animals. They were mostly giving them food, which is a positive thing, I would think. But who knows with laws today on if PETA would crack down on them. But besides the point, today we're going to talk a little bit about classic conditioning, operant conditioning, how I use it in the classroom, what it means to me, and so forth. Classic conditioning, as some of you know the story, is about Pavlov and the dogs. And this was discovered by accident when his assistant was delivering the meat to the dogs. He would notice that the dogs would actually start drooling. Not because of seeing the meat, which was supposed to cause the drooling, but actually from the assistant's footsteps coming towards it. So he decided to test this by adding a neutral stimulus, which was a bell, which eventually his study proved that by pairing the bell with the meat, then eventually the dogs would associate that every time a bell would go off, they would get meat. And so forth, and that created a conditional response that where every time the dogs heard a bell, then they would start drooling because they knew they were about to get meat. Operant conditioning, I'm going to use it from the standpoint of my classroom. Operant conditioning is a way to elicit or create behaviors that I would like to see in my classroom. It is also a way to kind of weed off or eliminate behaviors that I don't want to see in the classroom. I do this by having reinforcements or punishments, both positive and negative. A positive reinforcement might be a sticker, or it could be candy, or it could be goldfish. It could be extra recess time. These are things that I can reward, kind of, I hate to use the word dangle, but sort of offer up as sort of a thank you to my students for performing on the behaviors that I would like to see in my classroom and the culture that I'm trying to develop in my classroom. Negative reinforcements negative punishments might be like a letter home, a parent meeting, being sent to the principal's office, being held back for recess. These are examples of like a punishment to sort of weed off behaviors that I would not like to see in the classroom, or if I feel that my students could be making smarter choices and not making the proper behaviors that I'm particularly looking for. Now, the way I can do this, according to the studies on behaviorism, there are various different schedules that you can use. I personally tend to use a variable ratio schedule on the majority of my reinforcements. I will periodically call on students that are being excellent classroom role models, and I will reward them with like goldfish, which will then cause the other students to start acting in the behavior that I would like. So I'm rewarding one student for following the rules, and then also encouraging other students to equally follow the rules in the same line, by them seeing a student receiving reinforcement, a positive reinforcement for that behavior. And I vary it. I don't have like a fixed schedule where a fixed schedule would mean like I'm always giving to this student at this time of the day. Like every time at math, I'm always going to give this student goldfish. By varying it and giving it sporadically to random students at random times, it creates more of a mystery and a more of a, am I going to get it this time? Or is she going to get it this time? Is he going to get it this time? Which keeps them guessing and promotes the behavior more better, over the time, of the students. And I mean, I do still have some fixed ratio schedules. I mean, I have clip charts. I have rewards based on when you reach a certain goal or a certain benchmark. I think you still need some fixed goals in your classroom, like something to reach for, like a chart that they could visually see, something that can say like, "Oh, I'm almost there. I can get that there." So while randomness is excellent in the classroom for behavior, also having like a fixed schedule or a fixed like goal to build towards is also an excellent motivator in the classroom. So I used a fixed ratio schedule when I'm doing like a reward system, like a treasure box type, for example, and for students who are receiving rewards for excellent behavior in the classroom. And this is all, this is all operant conditioning. I am using reinforcements, or in some cases punishments, to promote and encourage like the desired behaviors I want, like listening in class, following directions, trying your best. And then I'm offering up negative punishments for things I don't want to see in the classroom, like talking out of turn, not raising your hand to speak, not keeping your hands to yourself, not using kind words in the classroom, are some of the examples of things that I would I would try and weed off from the classroom. And on another note, things that I would like to do to add on to this topic of behaviorism, especially when you're dealing with humans, and humans have like their own likes, their own dislikes. It's good to, from my experience, to tailor the reinforcements and the punishments to things that are more impactful to every student. And every student is different. Some may want like a cookie, or some might want candy, or some might want a sticker, or some might want just words of encouragement. It varies and it's different on a student to student basis, but it's good to really find that out and to know your students and to know what they like, to best understand and to best create the best schedule of conditioning to help your students. If you are going to be a teacher and you're watching my YouTube channel to get some tips on teaching, or you just really like behaviorism, or you just really like looking at poplets, maybe this is for you. And then I would recommend, getting to know your students, getting to know their likes, their dislikes, what they like, what they don't like, what they want, what they don't want. And that's going to better help you effectively pick the proper reinforcements and the proper punishments to properly create the conditioning and the behaviors that you are looking for in the classroom. That in general is about behaviorism. From my point of view, they say like on a rule of thumb, when you're creating a schedule, the ratios tend to be better than the intervals, and they also say that the variable tends to be better than the fixed. I think just in general, people fall into like a rut, or people fall into a routine, so that makes a lot of sense to me that you'd want to sort of vary it, keep them guessing, keep them on their toes, where and also it keeps your reinforcements and your punishments from getting too stale, where it's like, oh, I already know that's going to happen, or I already know that's going to happen. And it keeps it kind of fresh in their minds of like, ooh, what's going to happen next? Or I need to do a good job so I can see what's coming next. And so I tend to agree with that rule, and that's why I tend to do a variable schedule. So that's about all the time I have for today. I hope you really liked my video. Please like or subscribe if you would like to see more content from me. I might be posting more videos depending on other assignments that I might have to do. I don't know, but hopefully you enjoyed this, and thank you so much for watching.